go ahead and start. So on there, you should just, it'll say that the meeting's being recorded. So you just click got it. That's on your screen of your Claris. It's like a little box. You just push got it.
Now?
It will do that each time. Just make sure your tablet's turned up loud. Huh?
You want me to touch that got it right now?
Touch got it. And
okay.
You'll have that every time that we have class. When I start the recording, you'll just push got it. And then what was I going to say? Oh, well, I think what I was saying is that things come up and you might not be able to come to class, and that's fine. Don't worry about that. You can let me know by either emailing me. You can send me a message on the Claris if you have a Claris, or call me, however you want to get in touch with me. But it's fine if you have to miss class. The class will be put on recording, and I'll upload it to YouTube, which we went over that. So you saw the how to get to the YouTube page, the recordings, the one where it says SOWEGA.
Yeah.
SOWEGA virtual classes, that thing. All right. I'm turning that tablet around. It's throwing me off to see myself twice. All right, so I'm glad that you're here today. It's fun to go ahead and get started. We have it by ourselves today, so it should be fairly easy. And then you can feel welcome to just ask any questions and let me know, if you need any further help with different things. So I don't know what everything I told you whenever I came to your house, but I have been teaching Tai Chi since 2012.
Oh, I got to turn this up.
Yes, I think that's what I intended to say at some point, is make sure your tablet is turned all the way up.
All right. That's not the
that's the buttons on the side that has the plus and the minus. If you push plus all the way.
Well, let's see. It's on the side.
It's underneath that power button. There's the power button, and then there's one that says plus, and then the one, and the one underneath has like a minus.
I'm having a hard time seeing it. Just a minute.
That's okay. So you just push the plus button.
What? Oh, that's on top. Yeah. And the plus, yeah, okay.
Push plus until the thing goes it fills up the whole thing.
I think that must be it.
Okay. All right. And I try to be pretty loud. I do have a new camera coming in that has a built-in speaker, and it may be even better than what I have now. It's supposed to be.
All right, wait a minute. Something's, you're not moving. What did I mash?
I don't know. I should still be here. I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing here.
Yeah, but you're not talking.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but the picture of you is not talking. You're looking down.
Really? That is weird. Yeah. All right. Close. I wonder if I wonder if
and it's on record, but you're not moving. You're not. It's like it's froze, but I see myself.
Yeah, you
And
see.
it's, you can see me.
Uh-huh.
Well, I can see you, but you're not now. Okay.
Am I moving now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there was just a little glitch. I
Okay.
brought my tablet. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. I was trying to bring my tablet up because this is my first time I've taught a class where I've had a tablet. So I was kind of seeing what it looked like on your end by experiencing it myself.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, how that worked.
Recording in progress.
I'm having all kinds of fun.
And you won't.
All right, I'm moving that over. Just in that way, if you have any other questions, then I can turn it around. All right, so I have been teaching Tai Chi since 2012. So I'm going on 11 years. And, you know, it's been a journey for me. And I've learned a lot about Tai Chi and definitely experienced benefits from Tai Chi. Now, originally, whenever I was trained to do Tai Chi, it was for arthritis. It was through the health department, and they had money to pay to get me trained to teach Tai Chi to help people with arthritis. And then later on, it was evidence-based, proven to help with falls prevention. So this exact program has been through 2 different studies, one for falls prevention and one for arthritis. So those 2 off of the bat are 2 benefits that you can get from arthritis. Which you saw it in the newspaper from where you signed up, and you saw what some of those benefits were. For instance, reducing stress and anxiety and depression. That's probably my main reason for practicing Tai Chi, is because my world is like in a hurry and just go, go, go and high speed ahead all the time. And so it's not good for us to be always in a hurry. So Tai Chi helps me find a place to slow down and breathe. And I have to slow down. That's the rule of Tai Chi. So there's no bones about it that is going to help reduce that stressful and anxious feeling that life gives us. Because even if we don't have a lot going on, we still have a lot of stressors. People ask a lot of us and have expectations of us. So that's one of the benefits. That the fall prevention piece, because we do exercises that help build our stabilizer muscles, then that's going to help us be more stable. I mean, it seems kind of silly to say it that way, but that's how Tai Chi helps with balance, is by increasing our muscle strength. And we do that through weight transfer. And that's part of our principles. And I'll talk about that in a second. Some more of the Tai Chi benefits is that, of course, it helps us with balance, but it helps us with coordination. So sometimes we'll be learning new moves and you'll start feeling like that whole, pat your head and rub your belly, where you're trying to do 2 things at once. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but then we stick with it and keep working on it, and it helps us with our coordination because our muscles have memory, they get stronger, and so we'll be more coordinated when we're asked to go out and about in the world. I talked to you about the original reason being for arthritis. And so if you have any pain or even chronic pain for other reasons, but pain from arthritis, then you'll find relief from Tai Chi because number one, we strengthen our muscles and it helps support our joints better, but also because we do diaphragmatic breathing, then it helps relax our muscles. If you've ever maybe been in pain and you laid in bed and kind of went in the fetal position and just like, just kind of tensed up. If you've ever done that, then what you need to know is that when you tense up, you can actually cause yourself more pain. So as we learn to relax through diaphragmatic breathing, through slowing down, through breath, then that helps release some of the tension that we're holding in our muscles. And that's part of the pain cycle. So if we can break that cycle and release some of that tension, then that can help with pain. And that's one of the benefits of Tai Chi. Another is that it helps increase flexibility. And so we're going to actually do some of the warm-up stretches here in a minute. And the more we do those stretches, the more flexible our joints become. And that will help us be more mobile, again, have better coordination. You know, I always compare it to like a gymnast. You know, a gymnast can do some pretty extensive moves with their body. Just take, for instance, the splits. You know, that gymnast didn't just one day show up and do the splits. They had to work towards it. And so along and along, as we work on stretches of our major joints, then we'll become more flexible. And so that just happens through practice and over time. And because we practice those stretch movements, we'll have less tension. If you ever heard of a tension headache or stiffness in your neck, that can cause you to have pain or headaches. We learn ways to help release some of that tension and stretch out those muscles so that we're not getting pain through tension and stiffness. And then finally, we'll have an increase in stamina, physical fitness, and that just comes from being involved in a physical activity program. So those are some of the benefits. This is another benefit. Tai Chi teaches us to have body awareness. And so we're out and about in the world, and I have Tai Chi students tell me that I live on their shoulder. And so they'll hear me talk to them on their shoulder and say, reminding you about your posture. And so we talk about having an upright posture where our shoulders are back but relaxed. And then our spine is like a string that pulls up towards the ceiling and down towards the ground. So we have nice posture. So we have this increased body awareness of how we're holding ourselves and if we're holding tension anywhere. I know throughout the day, as I'm moving through the world, you know, I pay attention to, I'll catch myself leaning forward just a little bit when I'm walking because I'll be in a hurry, or maybe I'll catch myself holding my shoulders up and that's causing more tension, and that's all part of body awareness. And once you start paying attention to your body, you can make these adjustments so that your body is better supported. And so those are some of the benefits and some of the things that we learn in Tai Chi. You'll hear me say this stuff over and over in terms of the Tai Chi principles. Now, there are 3 sections of Tai Chi principles. Now, you don't have to remember all this because number one, I'm going to say it so much you're going to have a memory for it over time. But there's no test for it, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. I'm not going to quiz you. You know, you don't have to worry about anything like that. But the principles are in 3 categories: movement control, body structure, and then internal. Now, in movement control, what covers that principle is that our movements are slow, they're smooth, and they're continuous. And so, just for instance, this move where we bring our hands up towards our chin and chest, pushing away from our body, and then falling our hands down. So that was slow, right? So we're not going fast. It was smooth because there was nothing sharp about that movement. And it was continuous because as soon as I came up, I immediately came down. Okay? So slow, smooth, continuous. You'll hear me say that a lot. And it's probably what I say internally more than any other principle. Another principle or under movement control is gentle resistance. Now, have you ever done exercise in a swimming pool where, you might just walk in the pool and it's kind of harder to walk in because you're working against that water? Or, if you're just walking in that water, trying to push through it, that if you swim, you're having to push through it with your hands. That's resistance. Now, when we do Tai Chi, we sort of pretend that we're either in water or that we're in heavy air. And so when we do the movement, just like we did that, I just did that one, whenever I come up, I pretend that I'm pushing and pulling through water. And whenever I pretend that it's water, that I'm moving through water or heavy air, then that gives a gentle resistance and it engages muscle that I wouldn't normally engage to do that movement. And you can feel the difference. If I'm pushing like I'm pushing through heavy air or water versus just moving my hands forward, you can feel the difference in what muscles you're using. So those two are under movement control. The second section of principles is called body structure. And the first one is about upright posture. So that's what I told you a while ago. We have that good posture, like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. Our shoulders are back and relaxed. And that's how we hold ourselves and carry ourselves. So we're not slumped over. Our chin sits over our bodies. Nice, good, upright posture. And that's our goal, because if we ever walk around lean forward, we're more likely to fall forward. So upright posture. Under body structure is weight transfer. And you heard me talk about shifting weight or transferring weight from, now I have weight on both legs. I'm going to move my camera just a little bit so you can see my feet. But right now I have weight on both legs. I'm going to take all the weight off of this leg and give all the weight to this leg. So now this leg is free to be picked up. Then I shift the weight all back to this leg. Now this leg's free to lift off the ground. So I'm transferring weight from one leg to the other leg. All the while, I keep good posture where my shoulders are back and relaxed, and my spine is like that string that pulls up and down. Weight shifting is a huge principle in our Tai Chi that helps us with learn balance. So essentially, you're going from holding your weight on one leg to holding your weight on the other leg. And so that's a big indicator of falls, of whether you're going to fall or not, is how successful you are at holding weight on one leg. And so that's just incorporated into the movements of Tai Chi. Please don't let this overwhelm you, Miss Linda. This is just a lot of information I'm throwing at you so you kind of have an understanding of what and why we do the things we do. Now, if you ever feel like wore out or tired, you can always get a chair and do this from a seated position. So I was just talking about weight transfer. I'm sitting here in the chair. My legs are at shoulder width or hip width apart, even seated. And in terms of shifting weight, I can push this leg or foot into the floor and I feel muscles engage. And then I release that weight and push the other leg into the floor. And so that engages muscle. And that's a good place to be if you maybe not feel comfortable standing and doing the exercises. Another thing you can do is have your chair stand behind it and just hold the chair, and that can be your stabilizer. So here I can shift the weight, but I have the comfort of my chair to hold on to with my hands. That can work. I have this table here that I can have just in case maybe I lose my balance. I have something to rely on. So I like to have a chair nearby just for that. Always listen to your body. If your body says I need a break, sit down and take a break. That's the beauty of this Tai Chi exercises. We're not in competition with each other. You're doing what you can do. Miss Carlene will do what she can do. Miss Mary is going to do what she can do. Nobody's in competition. We're just trying to get better for ourselves. So don't let it feel like you're supposed to look exactly the way I'm doing it. Just listen to my instruction, follow the principles, and you're going to be just fine. The final principle is internal. And now this has to do with song, which is S-O-N-G, and that's open joints. So whenever we stand, we keep a soft bend in our knee. So we're not locking our knees and having our legs straight. We keep a soft bend. Same thing with our arms or our elbows. Whenever we have our hands extended, it's not out like Frankenstein. It's a soft bend still in our elbow. And that's an open joint. That's called an open joint. And that allows the energy to flow through your body. The lock joint closes off that flow of energy. So when I talk about energy, it's not like the energy where you feel like just going out and conquering the world, going out and running a mile. It's not that kind of energy. The energy I'm talking about is life energy. And so it's what makes the difference between a person, like a body that has passed, lying in a casket, versus a person who's alive and lying down in a bed. They're both bodies, but one has life and one doesn't. And so our goal is through exercise and movement is to increase our life or increase our energy. And that's just what makes us feel good. Anytime you maybe go for a walk, get some type of exercise, you always just feel better. And so that's energy. That's that life energy that you just feel good. So the other thing about internal is called mental quietness, or Jing, J-I-N-G. And that's whenever you can really sit in a quiet environment and do these movements and experience that slow, smooth, continuous and breath all at one time. And it's just everything in your body is relaxed. It's harder to do in class because you have an instructor who talks. So it's something that you'll probably experience as you progress into the Tai Chi and as you practice on your own. So those are our principles. Movement control, that includes slow, smooth, continuous, and gentle resistance. Body structure, which is upright posture and our weight transfer. And then the internal principles of open joints or song and mental quietness or Jing. So remember, there's no test. That's just threw some information at you, and it'll all make more and more sense as we learn our Tai Chi. Every class, we will do warm-ups, and we do warm-ups of our major joints. Starting with our neck, we'll do 2. We do 2 for our shoulders. We do 2 for our spine, 2 for our hips, 2 for our knees, and 2 for our ankles. And so today we're going to get through our neck, shoulders, and spine, and that will give you something to practice and work on until we have class next week. I haven't lost you, have I, Miss Linda?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, good deal. Feel free to interrupt me if what I say doesn't make sense. All right.
Okay.
So we'll start with our body structure. We keep our feet about shoulder width apart or hip width apart. I typically have mine a little bit wider. That makes me feel more stable. So if you can play around with it a little bit, just know if I have my feet right here, right beside each other touching, I don't feel very stable. I can fall over very easily. It was just as if you had a table and all the legs were in the middle of the table. Your table wouldn't be able to stand up. So the people who made your table spread your legs on your table out, and that helps it be more stable. And so that's the premise behind having your feet at about hip width apart. That's a more stable stance. So if you're ever find yourself needing to stand for a long period of time, I always think of the line at the grocery store or the line at Walmart. Open up those legs and you'll be more stable. If somebody accidentally bumps you, you're less likely to fall. Another stance that we do is called a staggered stance, where we have one leg a little further forward than the other leg. So my legs are still at about hip width apart, but one is further forward. That's called a staggered stance. That is a very stable stance to be in. If you're ever having to support your weight over your hips, having that good posture, and stand for a longer period of time, then that is going to be a good stance. But in Tai Chi, that's typically where we are, is about hip width apart. Now, there may be times when momentarily we lift a leg, or we step out, or we step to the side. You know, we do movements in Tai Chi. We're not just going to stand in one place, but typically this is our stance. Feet shoulder width apart, weight on both legs, upright posture. Another key to our Tai Chi is breathing. We don't want to hold our breath. Now that is easy to say, but not so easy to do whenever we are learning something new. Because I find myself, if I'm really intent and working hard on something, then I catch myself holding my breath. And if I'm learning something new, I'll catch myself holding my breath. So you hear me say, I catch myself. Well, that's body awareness. Checking in with yourself. Ooh, am I breathing? Oh, I'm not breathing. Let me take a good breath. So breathing is incorporated into our movements as well. So let's get in that stable stance where our feet are about hip width apart. We have that good posture, that soft bend in our knees, and our hands are going to start in front of us. We're going to bring our hands up, palms down, and we're not going to go any higher than our shoulder. So from here up, right here, and when we get to that shoulder height, we're going to turn our hands in and pull them towards our chin and chest. When we get to our chin and chest, we're going to turn our hands and push away from our bodies. And then we're going to follow with our head and eyes, our hands all the way down. So essentially, I went chin to chest. When I went chin to chest, I feel a little bit of stretch in the back of my neck. So this is one of our neck stretches, our warm-up stretch for our neck. So let's bring our hands up towards our chin and chest, push away from our bodies, and then follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. Bring our hands up towards our chin and chest, push away from our body, and follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. So we're going to bring our hands up. We're going to inhale as we bring those hands up. And then to finish that movement, we'll finish it as we exhale. So inhale as we come up and begin that exhale as we finish that movement, chin towards our chest. How was that?
That was okay.
Okay, very good. I can't see you, but next week you're going to have something on there to keep that thing standing up, so I'll be able to see you. All right, so the next neck exercise starts out that same way. We bring those hands up towards our chin and chest, and then when we get here, this time we're going to bring one hand down by our hip, and we're going to follow this hand to the side. We're going to look towards that shoulder. So you see my body is staying forward. Only my head and my hand are moving. And then I'm going to come back to the front. Switch my hands. Now I'm going to follow this hand as I look towards that shoulder. So I don't have to go as far as I can go. I just go until I feel a slight stretch. Come back and go to the other side and back to the front. So this helps with the mobility of our neck. And when I do this exercise, I always think about driving. So you imagine when you're driving and you have to look over there to see if it's safely for you to switch lanes. So this is that move. Look over. See if I can switch lanes. Without mobility in your neck, then it's hard to be a safe driver. Same thing with if you're backing up out of a parking spot. You're going to look over your shoulder to see if everything's okay for you to back up. So this is how this exercise particular can help you with everyday living, and here is specifically driving. So there we have our 2 neck exercises. So let's go through those again. We bring our hands up towards our chin and chest, push away from our bodies, and follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale as we come up, and exhale when you're ready. Finish that movement. Because all our lungs are different, our breathing will be a little different. Very good. Now our other neck exercise here. Drop one hand, follow the other one as you look towards your shoulder. The more you do this, the more mobility you'll have in your neck. So if you feel a little stiff now, that's okay. Just keep going and your neck will loosen up more and more as you do the exercise, reducing tension and reducing stiffness. Those are our 2 necks. Do you have any questions with those?
No.
Very good. Next is for our shoulders. So again, we stay in that stable stance. My hands are to my sides, and I'm going to rotate my shoulders forward. So I'm bringing my shoulders up, forward, and down. Just a small little circle forward. Now that probably feels very awkward because I've told you from the start, we're not supposed to have that kind of a posture. We're supposed to have our shoulders back. So now let's roll our shoulders back. And that feels so good. It's like a massage you give yourself. So we roll our shoulders forward first. And I typically do 3. And then we go back. Rotate those shoulders back. So that's our first shoulder exercise, is the little circles forward and the little circles back. Very good. All right, now the other shoulder exercise, we have our hands down beside us. We're going to take our palms up and lift our arms up to our about shoulder height. Then we're going to turn our hands and push them down in front of us. Bring those hands up and push those hands down. Inhale up and exhale down.
In these exercises, we need to, when we start each one, we need to inhale, and then when we come down, exhale.
Yes, and that's just a general rule. That doesn't mean you can't breathe until you start to come down. You listen.
Right.
You listen to your body, and if your body says, "I need some breath, honey," then you get body breath. But generally, our movements start with an inhale and then end with the exhale. Some movements will have multiple breaths in and out. But this is a good one to just practice breathing. And you know, you can get in your chair, be in a stable stance, even though you're seated, and you can go. You can close your eyes because you're in this chair and you're supported by this chair. And you can just sit here and breathe. Inhale and exhale. And this is a good movement to do for visualization. So, you know, sometimes we'll let our minds get ahead of us. Our minds will be sometimes our worst enemy. We will just think of all the negative and bad things that we can conjure up. We can stress ourselves out and find all things to worry about, or we can flip a switch and think about the good things, the things we're thankful for, you know, and you can do this movement and here, think about that good, and now push away that bad. Inhale, so it's like a visualization exercise. Push down. Good and bad. See? So sometimes we just need to have a mindset check and remind ourselves, oh, there is good. I got to push this bad and stop focusing on this bad. Or maybe it's not good and bad, but maybe it's something that has worried your mind. You might say, I've got this. I'm not going to worry about it. God's got me. I'm not going to worry, right? So here and pushing away that worry. This is a good. I'm not going to think about that, right? All right, so those are for our shoulders. The one where we did the shoulder circles forward and the shoulders back, and then we did the shoulder circles. Next is for our spine. And the spine exercises start with a ball. So here I have my hands facing each other as if I were really holding a ball. And I'm going to hold that ball wherever my shoulders are relaxed and my hands land. So if I were to have my ball up here, I mean, you saw me pull my shoulders up, right? Now I can have my shoulders relaxed and my ball is here. Or I can have my shoulders relaxed and it be here. Wherever your hands feel the most comfortable, as long as your shoulders are relaxed. So don't raise your shoulders and hold your ball. Keep your shoulders relaxed while you hold your ball. So we're going to stretch our spine two different ways. We're going to stretch it vertically, so up and down, and we're going to stretch our spine horizontally or side to side. So here we have our ball. The hand that's on top of our ball is going to push down towards the ground. Remember what I said about that open joint. I'm keeping that soft bend in my elbow. I'm not straightening out my arm. There's that soft bend as I push down towards the ground. Same thing with the hand on the bottom of my ball. I'm going to come up and push up towards the ceiling. Here's that soft bend. I'm not straightening it out. I got that soft bend. Move my computer back a little bit. I think you can see me better. One day I'm going to learn so much about computers and I'll be so scary. All right, so here we go. Push up and down at the same time. Remember, keeping that soft bend. We're not straightening out our arms. All right, so back to our ball. And then let's switch our hands. So now the other one is pushing up towards the ceiling, and this one is pushing down towards the ground. It's a lot like I always think of a hello, good morning stretch where you get out of bed and you just go, oh, stretch, stretch. And you probably do lock your elbows when you do that, when you get out of bed. And so this is similar to that stretch, but definitely not the same. So we're here, switch, here. Back to our ball. One hand goes up, the other comes down, stretch that spine. Come back to our ball, switch, stretch. Here. It looked like I was holding that bulldog in my hands. That's funny. So that's our first spinal stretch. That's the one that stretches our spine vertically. And remember, we're going to do this every single class. This is just our first time learning it and being exposed to it. So don't let it overwhelm you. We're going to do it every single time. All right, so the other spinal exercise is with our ball. So we hold our ball, and the hand that's on top tells us the direction we're going to go. So here I'm going to take my ball on a little ride. Now notice the only thing that moved is the top part of my body. My legs didn't go anywhere. They stayed facing forward. Took that ball on a ride. Now switch my hands and come back across to the other side. Switch. Take that ball for a ride. Moving my body side to side. Don't forget to breathe. Very good. So we're just going side to side. Now these exercises that I just did, the 2 for our neck, the 2 for our shoulders, and the 2 for our spine, can very easily be done in a chair. As a matter of fact, that second one, spinal, that we just did, it's nice to do it in a chair because you can feel just how far you should go. We're not going as far as we can go, but if I start going any further, I'll start being pulled out of my chair. And we're not trying to fall out of our chair. So we just go just above that thigh, switch our hands, and come back across just above that thigh. So I'm not trying to go way over here. So if you practice it seated, then when you're standing, then you have a better idea of just how small that side-to-side movement is. You know, we live in this world where we're supposed to always be in a hurry. We're supposed to always do more. It's just constant, 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 constant. And so it's hard sometimes in Tai Chi for us to do less. And so just remind yourself, hey, I don't have to go way over here. I'm not doing myself any favors. We're just doing a slight movement side to side to warm up that spine to get us ready for other movements that we'll be doing. So again, let's review. First, our neck exercise. Always have this upright posture, our stable stance with our weight on both legs, slight bend in our knee. Our hands are to our side. We bring our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. We push away from our bodies, and we follow our hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. The other neck exercise, we bring our hands up towards our chin and chest. Starts out that same way. When we get here, this time we put one to our hip, and we follow this hand as we look towards the shoulder, back to the front, switch hands, and follow that hand over the other shoulder and back to the front. And that helps with our neck flexibility and mobility. Next is our shoulders. We're going to roll those shoulders forward. Feels a little bit awkward, and that's because our shoulders aren't supposed to be forward. So we do it second as we roll our shoulders back. That's the second step to that movement, is rolling back. And that probably feels more comfortable. The other shoulder exercise, we bring our palms up about shoulder height and then turn them over and push down in front of us. Inhaling as we come up and exhaling as we push down. Those are our two shoulder ones. Then to our spine, we have our ball. The hand that's on top is going to push down towards the ground, keeping a soft bend in our elbow. The hand on the bottom of the ball is going to come up and push up towards the ceiling. So we're pushing ceiling and the floor at the same time. Some people call this separating the heavens and the earth. That feels kind of powerful to say. Come back here and separate the heavens and the earth. We do that on each side. Then we come to our ball and take it for a ride, going in the direction of the hand that's on top. To the side, switch, and come back across, switch. So those are our two spinal exercises. Our first 3 body parts for our warm-ups. Do you have any questions about those?
No, I know how to do it, but sometimes I get my hands mixed up.
That's okay. I get my hands mixed up still after all these years. And that's okay. Main thing is you're doing it and we're in a stable stance where we're not going to fall. And so at the end of each class, we always cool down and we do what I call a fist massage. I take my fist and slightly beat my thighs. I might even sometimes come back here and beat my gluteus. This is breaking up lactic acid, and lactic acid buildup is what makes our muscles sore. And so we just bust up lactic acid to help us not be sore. The next thing that we do is purposely gather in tension and then let it go. So we gather and release. This is a good time to breathe. Inhale and exhale. Then we do our shoulder circle, up and down, up and down. And at the very end, we always have our right fist. It's a loose fist and it represents our strength. Our left hand, we put our fingers together and that represents our friendship. We bend our thumb in and that represents our humility. So we have strength, friendship, and humility. We put those together and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste is a word that means everything in me respects everything in you. So it doesn't matter if we're different, if we believe different, if we think different, we can still be respectful of each other. We can still be kind. And so I think that's a great word. That's what we do at the end of each of our Tai Chi class. So, what you think, Miss Linda?
I think once I get used to it, you know, I'll be able to follow along better.
I think so too. Now, remember, you have access to the videos on your Claris, so you can always go to those tutorial videos that says neck warm-ups, spinal warm-ups, and shoulder warm-ups, and those are the ones that we did today. Next week, we're going to do hips, knees, and ankles. And so those will be all of our warm-ups. So those are those videos that are on my YouTube page that you can go to on your Claris. Then you can go and look forward or do just what we did today in practice. Today, as soon as I get off, push stop record on this video, I'll upload it to YouTube, and you can rewatch this exact class on YouTube. So there's lots of ways to look back and practice before we have class next Tuesday. You can always send me a message. You can always call me. You just let me know if there's anything I can do for you, okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're welcome, and I hope to see you next Tuesday. If I don't talk to you before, have a great one, okay?
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.